New woke order, we do not consent. I would rather my child thumbs up be awake than to have a master's degree at Harvard University.
What?
Everyone in the world is insane.
What is that amazing smell? Oh my god, it's you! How the heck did you get into my house? Well, good evening, laddies, lasses and lassos, and especially you, George. How are you doing today, George? Welcome to the channel, George. So today, we're gonna do something beautiful. We're gonna look at r/InsaneParents, and we're gonna find solace in the fact that we are not alone with dealing with people in general, just people. Oh, what's this, you ask? Well, I was fighting a bear defending our memes. It may have been an insect, but I won. No, I didn't. But I'm here, and we're gonna read memes. And remember to subscribe to the channel, because you never know when... Watch the video. My dad when he sleeps until 1 p.m. every single day. My dad when I don't have an alarm healthy sleeping schedule and don't wake up at 6 a.m. in the summer. Oh my god! Oh, you're failing life, son. Oh, the biggest deal ever. You have to get up to get ready for nothing. Just learned our 9-year-old did an experiment on us. Lost a tooth, told no one for a third. Kept tooth under his pillow, no money. Then he tells us he lost a tooth. Next night there is money under his pillow. Then confronted us with the scientific evidence that a tooth fairy isn't real.
I would have punished my child if she did that. If the tooth fairy is not real, Jesus Christ, it's not real. It's that simple.
Wait, holy shit. Come on, do you believe in Santa too? Santa's and Jesus's powers are conveniently similar. I think they just work together. The tooth fairy just gives Santa teeth and he builds toys from teeth. Changed my mind. God's word says there's none good. Your child isn't good. His heart is evil. But there's a way to restrain his sinfulness. Teach him to fear of the Lord. Face it, children are evil, living waters. If you tell me this in the context of, like, Minecraft, when you have, like, these cursed freaking baby bling-bling zombies coming after you every time, yes, babies are horrendous, frick the babies, but in real life, not so much, fam. What kind of path in life are you heading down when you have to convince the world, like, babies are the root of all evil? Well, I suppose they are young humans, you know, so all evil people were babies at some point, but you get, it's not...
Nee. That baby doesn't understand your humor. You just make him mean. He's not one of your high school buddies. He's a little bitty baby, doesn't understand your meanness. He only wants love.
He was laughing right before this picture. How is me taking a picture of him having whipped cream on his face mean? Your misinterpretations of literally everything are why I don't send you more pics of your grandson. You are freaking nuts sometimes. You know, the people just connected the dots to make everything the worst thing imaginable. Oh my god, you spilled a little bit of cream on your nose. That's like violation. You probably left it on so it rotted and then his senses are ruined for all future. My mother, me, a normal trans boy putting on makeup, necklace and bracelets to boost my confidence and morale. My mother, don't you think you're a boy? Why are you dressing like that? Her dead name? Yeah. It's not that hard. Just like you encourage your kids, help them find who they are. It's very important.
I would like to teach my kids about summer solstice from a biblical and flat earth point of
oh my god,
point of view. Anyone have any good resources for this? I do this with my kids. I suggest them taking out of public school if you already haven't. My child will not learn anything from a science teacher, and my child hasn't learned any math skills as well. Odd flex, but okay. They want you to teach your kids stuff like that, but we know it's all balonga. I suggest you teach your kids only religion and nothing else. A bit of an outdated concept, don't you think, fam? You want tips on how to stay cool in the summer? Ice blocks are the best friend ever. You know, when you want a hug that is warm and soft, screw that. Cold and hard. Just like my heart. This was posted to a page in my local area. Basically, her kid stole another kid's phone, refused to give it back, so her mother shouted at the kid whose phone was stolen, and then drove off with her phone absolutely crazy. I've seen posts like this before online, but never thought it would happen here. My 13-year-old son was robbed of his red iPhone last night in the park adjacent to Bablorp at approximately blorpy time. The kid was roughly about 4 or 5 years old and picked up my son's phone from the floor where he was playing. When my son asked for him to return his phone, a long blonde woman in her 20s wearing a red top and dark blue jeans, believed to be mom, began to shout at my son. She then took the child and my son's phone into a white and red Mini and drove off. I seriously suggest that if the female reads this post, she makes contact with the spotted page and get in touch with me in order to return the phone as your vehicle registration was clocked. Ooh.
A picture taken and the details passed to the police. I'd rather this be dealt with without the police involvement and settled in a civil way. At my old job at a buffet, a server's phone was stolen. On the cameras, we saw a child about the above age go sneakily grab it off the servant station and then give it to his dad who put it in his pocket, and then the family left. The wife saw it all. It was clear they had trained their child to do that. Jesus, that is so dark! My kid comes out to me as pan. I tell them they're too young to know and it's just a face. I found out they're transgender. I send them away to help them realize they're not trans and just confused. Why won't my kid talk to me? Well, if they come out as pan first and then transgender, they're probably trying to figure themselves out. Let it take time. Maybe they're not right about the first thing, but allow them to try different things. This is how we learn who we are. We need to try things and eventually find something we are comfortable with. That is how the world works in general. It goes with everything. It goes with friends, goes with relation, goes with love, goes with jobs, passions, you name it. You need to try a few times, maybe get it wrong a couple of times until you realize what you really want. But forcefully limiting those options and that experimentation is not going to make anyone happier in the long run. You are probably going to make them very confused, or maybe just move away from you entirely. Dad.
Yes?
This is your grandson Blorp.
What is it? The beginning of a new life of surrender to God and continuation of the old rebellion and sin?
Neither. I'm just showing you your grandson.
When I lost my daughter, it all becomes irrelevant. I said with great sadness and sorrow, but I do pray for you every day that God will corner you and return you unto himself, and then things will be different, waiting for that day.
Not having contact with him on a regular basis might be more productive for everyone involved. Maybe he will gain more freedom to do what he wants to do, whatever that is.
Don't worry, daughter, I'm taking you away from your abusive father to live with me, where I don't have to grow up with more abuse, right?
Where I won't grow up with more abuse, right?
My mom overheard us asking my dad's partner of 8 years for advice on a Father's Day gift, and she stormed out. We then received this text. She forgets that she cheated on him and walked out of us in the first place. Mom.
I'm sorry. It is your dad that's having an affair, not me. He forgets that he's still married to me.
You guys are separated for the last 13 years. What do you expect us to do? What is your solution to all this?
So it's not legal. He is still married to me.
I feel like in some families, the children kind of outmature the parents, where one of the parents just stay like being a teenager forever. Is this a thing? Like perpetual teenager syndrome? Or perpetual dramatic teenager syndrome? Maybe I'll tell my parents I'm bi after 2.5 years of being in the closet. Let me just see how they feel about a queer community.
Nowadays 90% are doing it because they're trend.
Never again. I think there is a trend, but the trend is rather we're becoming more accepting about these kind of things, at least I like to think so, and that means more people are willing to come out. So that the stats of people in the LGBT are rising is probably not because, the me just turning people into the Gaia. It's probably just the environment is enabling more people to come out and be themselves safely.
Guys, I just want to get clean and sober. I want my daughter home. What you fail to realize is I can function to be a good mom and still do meth.
Okay.
It never made me a bad mom. I changed diapers, made bottles, made nap time, so it is the government to tell us what we can and cannot do. This world is cold and sick. Mama just wants you home. I should not have to choose between my child and drugs. It's childish.
The hypocrisy. Oh my god. I should not have to choose between being a parent and being an adult. That's childish.
Everyone keeps telling me to grow up and change. How about y'all grow up and change? I'm tired, haven't slept in days, and everyone wants to be on BS. I have 4 months left to get my child back, and let me tell you, I will. And I will prove to you I can do it while on meth. Anything is possible. Just don't give up hope. There's nothing mommy can't do. I love you, baby girl.
But not enough to change your life choices to make, their well-being the top priority, I suppose. I usually say that you shouldn't do harmful stuff because it's dumb. But if it only affects you, it's kind of like it can still be dumb, but, go ham if you're an adult, your body, your choice and all that good stuff. I don't have to approve of it specifically when it comes to heavy drugs and stuff like that, but, as long as it's not affecting anyone else. But when it comes to being a parent or when you actively drag other people down with you, that's when it gets into very yikers territory, and you should cease with this. Be a responsible adult. My dad insults my appearance in a picture, so I deleted his comments. A man-child.
Did you block me?
I just deleted your mean comments on my nice picture.
Well, I was just kidding. You look beautiful. It wasn't even mean. It was funny.
Do some parents get kids, like they graduate high school, they no longer have people to bully, so they just get kids instead? Just don't.
Me having a good holiday. My parents start yelling. My mom is arguing with my dad constantly. My holiday's ruined because my mom wants to be petty about things that happened in the past. Woo! Y'all, it's not funny, but I really put the foo. We leave football practice, go Chick-fil-A for dinner, and when he goes out to get the car, his food falls out. It's not funny because I'm not buying no more. On top of that, I drank his juice so he don't have anything. Like, he's really hurt. I ate Pipiablo, whatever I'm called. I'm not hungry, but I really feel for him. He probably hates me as mom right now because I can't stop laughing. Let me just post this picture of my literal child crying because I won't buy him new dinner when it fell out the car. What an amazing person. This is not what social media is supposed to enable. What are you doing? Finally getting a job through co-op after applying for months. I started working 40 plus hours a week even though I was hired part-time. Mom yells at me saying I don't deserve a decent job and I should be lucky if I'm even working. She emotionally and verbally abuses me when I call in sick for the first time and calls me irresponsible for getting... Jesus Christ, that is so toxic. Move away as soon as you can. My God, that stuff is so draining. Tonight, I gave each of the girls a rock and a sucker. I had them walk down the road and back with a rock in their shoe and a sucker in their mouth. You should have heard the grumbling. They couldn't walk normal because the rock was uncomfortable. They were limping and staggering, just trying to get back to me. When we came back inside, I asked them what it was like for them to walk around like that. The answers varied, but most talked about how hard it was to walk around with a rock in their shoe. No one mentioned how sweet the sucker was in their mouth. We often fail to realize God's blessing because we put too much focus on the struggles in life.
I'm gonna be honest, the post actually has a point. We have a tendency to focus too much on the negatives in life, and I think it's good for anyone to like realize that and try to think about it, or at least be self-aware, so when you find yourself going down a rabbit hole of just dark thought about things that may or may not matter that much in the long run, that we can kind of stop ourselves. But doing this to a literal child that might not be able to put it in perspective, and also like literally physically torturing them, might not be the path to teaching that thing. It's better to teach them something like, oh, you want something expensive, cut the lawn and earn it, and it will taste even better once you earned it and worked hard for it. Lessons like that are productive. This is just kind of weird.
I just found a men's workout magazine in my son's room. Should I be scared that he's gay? And if he is, what should I do to make him normal again? Please send prayers and advice, so we can abolish the gay.
First off, don't jump to conclusions, and mostly love and accept him. Maybe he just wants to work out. How can you be so worried about something? Oh my... I find it so fascinating when people are so worried about things that are churning my child, the guy. But then also, it follows the same logic. Like, okay, if it's that easy to become a guy, why don't you just show them like a super straight film afterwards so they just turn back? If you think that's how it works. Nothing adds up. It's so weird. PragerU, this is amazing. My 12-year-old daughter watched 50 PragerU videos this summer and took notes on each one to the law. My God, no. I would like to say thanks to the person that taught me strength. My parents. Mom and Dad, sit the back down. I ain't talking about you. My therapist, my friends, and myself. I hope that most of the people out there, that this is applicable to their parents. If it isn't, condolences, and I do hope you have people around you that are supportive, because everyone deserves that.
Freshly cut switches, $1 each, de-leafing 50 cents extra, and for parents with really bad kids, buy 2 get 1 free, trying to make America great again.
Are you selling these to slap around kids with sticks? This is horrible.
My 18-year-old daughter was segregated at the back of the rides at Thornton Park, and she is mask exempt. Didn't something similar happen on buses years ago?
Hi, in line with our ride restrictions, all our guests who are mask exempt are required to sit in the row furthest in the back and reduce the risk of air transmission on board attractions. That's not comparable. When there's an actual disease flowing about the air, you should maybe try to limit it. If you have issues that make you not able to wear a mask, that really sucks, and you have my condolences. But it also means that everyone still has to be responsible for not spreading something like this, because it will make it worse for everyone. So in that sense, no, this is not a comparable anecdote.
My daughter believes that the earth is round. How do I help her? She's being lied to. Just point out the moon and sun in the sky at all times at the same time and ask her what's on the other side of the globe.
Australia?
Just start with this. Looks pretty flat to me.
If you stood on top of a basketball, but you were like this big, it would also look flat. It's all a matter of perspective. And please tell me if I'm like messing this up. But in my mind, the weird thing is they always say, where's the curve? Because they expect the horizon to do like this or something like that when you look on the horizon. But isn't that very strange? Because imagine if you're standing on top of a tall building and there's ocean all around you. If you look in that direction, the ocean will go out of view, go over the curve, so to say, at the same distance as over here and over here. So if you look around you, it would just be a flat line when your vision no longer sees the ocean, because it goes downhill, basically, kind of. So there wouldn't be the world isn't a cylinder. It's so strange, I don't get it. Disrespect. A logical point. Corporate needs to define the difference between this picture and this picture. Insane Parents. They're the same picture. I'm gonna post something on Insane Parents because my parents are acting a little weird. See the shite you guys have to go through. My God. Help, please. My 8-year-old daughter has a reoccurrence in her cancer brain tumor. Surgery is planned for Tuesday. However, her surgeon refuses to do surgery unless she has a COVID swab. I refuse, as I feel it's not in her best interest and would cause unnecessary trauma. It's a little pokey stick. It's unpleasant, but However, she needs the tumor removed. Should I put my issues with the con job COVID aside and do it under duress? Or can anyone point me in a direction of how to refuse it without delaying? Prioritize the actual life-threatening stuff above a swab. I think that's kind of a no-brainer. Oh, you stubbed your toe? Well, let's just cut off the entire leg. Woo. Can I say something at the risk of pissing you off? As your father, I feel I have the responsibility to tell you how I feel. I love you above all things, but God, I can't keep my mouth shut if you want me to. What's up? Homosexuality is a mortal sin. I think the way the Bible describes it is that naughties is between a man and a woman. So two people of the same sex doing the naughties, it's not even considered the naughties. We can get away sin-free. Is everyone just does the gaia? Ooh, life hack. Mortal sin. Not a venial sin at all. It completely cut you off from Christ. You cannot be... Christ also got nailed by like 12 dudes. Get it? He's got nailed by... yeah, you know what I mean. You cannot be in a state of grace if you're guilty of it simply blah, 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 blah. Please don't be angry with me. You don't have to say anything in response. Just don't be angry. Then just don't say anything. Like God. I would love to thank my mom for telling me to die every day. Keep that up. Hopefully, Jesus Christ. If you have parents like this, hang in there. It does get better in time. One thing with growing older is that you gain more responsibilities, more pressure on you, more things you have to do yourself. But on the other hand, you also get more and more power as you grow older to choose who you want around you, whether that be friends, partners, colleagues, and especially family. The older you get, the more choices you have. So hang in there. It really sucks, but you can get through it, and it will get so much better. It is a cliche, but after a while, all the choices will be up to you and nobody else. You will have control of your life in a very near future. Hang in there. I believe in you. People on the sub when the insane parent shares the same political belief as them. Not insane! In my experience, it's best to just keep, like, politics and that kind of junk outside of family stuff. Also outside of friendships most of the time. Some people are really good at discussing things without being, like, too personal about it or taking offense to someone just thinking differently. With those people, it's perfectly fine. Discuss away and you will probably learn a bunch of cool stuff. But with people who make it way too personal, it's not worth it. It really isn't. Just, you know, move on and talk about other things. It really is for the best. It's like a weirdly divisive thing. I'm gonna make sure my kids never get to see Nickelodeon or any TV or a mobile until I know they're straight. That's also kind of like, it's so contradictory. So, are they born that way according to you? Or do they get turned that way? And in that case, can't you just turn them back? This whole sentence, you managed to like contradict yourself in 3 lines. It's amazing. This was my mom's reaction to me getting a cat. He's beautiful. Is he good? What happened about a dog? You're just being lazy. Can't bother to walk. Dogs are more responsibility, or maybe they just prefer a cat. Talk about jumping to the worst conclusion. You're just lazy. If they really were that lazy, they wouldn't have gotten any pet. In the past years, me and my wife have spent hundreds of dollars at the store. This is a promise to let all the grandparents of my children know, and to whomever may buy them anything to wear. Do not buy my kids one stitch of clothing, shoes, or anything from this hell-infested store because they will not wear it. This is a children clothing store, for crying out loud. They're shoving this garbage and pushing it in every way they can. Not in my house. You will not push the force in this to my house. I will forcefully say all the department stores and government. I am not raising dogs at my home. We live in the imagined blah blah blah, God almighty, and all this stuff. Carters, love, live, pride, LGBTQA+, show your pride. Ooh, the horror is a little rainbow. Well, I guess you should fear the Gaia. They had the power to steal the rainbow from God. If they can rip the rainbow from the clutches of God himself, they can just swat you away like a little fly. The power of the Gaia. I moved out 5 years ago because my mom was abusive, and I lived on my own since I was 17. I moved in with my grandma, the red name. A few months ago, I've barely spoken to my mom in 5 years, but she still insists to be counted as her census. I need to know, right now, for the census that we got to fill out, what languages besides English are you able to speak fluently or carry a conversation? But I don't live with you? Isn't it supposed to be for people in the same household?
I don't think Blorp has done the census, so I just had you listed here. So this is your first home, and you're my daughter.
What a weird answer to a logical question.
I own you. You are my vagina gremlin. I pooped you out.
Ask a question, me.
So those who have a teen, what do you all do about disrespectful, out-of-control teenagers? I'm seriously about to lose it already this summer. Take everything away. No phone, car, iPad, computer, TV. You get your bedroom. Therapy!
Teenagers are gonna be rocky. That's part of the journey of having kids. I think most of us watching this video are either have been teenagers themselves, have teenagers, or maybe even are teenagers themselves. At the time in your life, you're figuring out a lot of stuff. Hormones are flying everywhere, insecurities at school, weird crushes left and right. Like, it's not an easy time. It's very confusing. It's the middle ground between being a child and being an adult and trying to figure out yourself. Be patient with your teenagers, and let it take a bit of time. You were a teenager yourself. You should realize how difficult it can be for some people. Finally, getting to see a doctor sends me to a specialist for examination. The test to see if you have cancer will give you cancer, Mom. The test to see if you have cancer.
Is it? You die if you do it. You die if you don't. Great.
My 16-year-old just asked if he could get vaccinated. I didn't know what kind of liberal, CDC, uneducated thing has possessed my son, so I checked his phone. I found so much anti-Trump and liberal shit on there I took his phone away. I don't know what else I should do. Any advice on how to help get my son out of the hands of the liberals? Oh my god, the world order.
You should show him reports on both sides of the fence along with stats and see what he has to say.
Those phones are dangerous. My son went through something similar last year. The phone is gone. The world's trying to steal their hearts and minds. Protect your babies, my friends.
Oh, this gives me like crazy Facebook mom group vibes. Gah, ugh, oh, it's like itching in weird places.
That's why all vaccines are getting exposed, because they are not safe. I think I don't have ever trust them. They weren't approved.
They are not being exposed. They were approved. You're getting false information. I'm not going to argue about this anymore. Do what you want. Talk to me again when you come to your senses. I love you, but I'm not dealing with this delusion anymore. I am sorry you don't believe the truth. I hope that you don't get sick.
Well, now that your papa got life expectancy of 2 to 3 years, that's the truth.
LMFAO!
Finally, a call to stop the vax promise. Share.
Please don't send me that.
Listen to it, sweaty, please.
No, I've already been vaccinated. I don't need to hear that BS.
It's not BS, it's the truth. There's bringing out the truth in it.
Believe whatever you want. I'm not arguing with you anymore. My mother trying to gain access to my siblings' financial aid for college. The email isn't even from the college they're going to.
I need your email address.
For?
Why are you being so nasty to me? Apparently there is another form of financial aid. I will forward it to you, so can you please give me your email?
I'm not. I was asking. I'm on top of everything, other than form that came in email from me yesterday. It's probably that.
Well, it's very clear that you need to get your financial aid. Or says that address is invalid. It says.
Oh, okay, forward it to me.
I can't forward it to you. It says email invalid.
Try Blorp instead. That's not from the university. It's from the university. I don't need to fill out anything unless I plan on getting an estimate and attending.
This is your father. You have to reach out to them and handle it.
It's not from that university. Jesus Christ. Trying to get scammed by your own parents? That's so bad. I've missed sharing my insane mother with you. The vaccine gave me stage 3 endometriosis. Doubt?
Someone to hear a message you're not ready to receive, but we must never underestimate the power of planting a seed. Love you. Here is the seed. Oh, it's an inventor that has a seed.
Well, laddies, lasses, and lassos, I do hope you enjoyed this beautiful video. You look beautiful today and smell much less worse than yesterday. Mwah, you beautiful being, and I do hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Take care. Mwah.